Welcome to the Ricardo Tormo circuit in Valencia. It's the final round of the 2021 MotoGP World Championship, the end of the season and the end of an era. It's the weekend we say goodbye to the GOAT, the greatest of all time, 9 times world champion. Valentino Rossi, of course, calling time on his great 26-season career in the MotoGP World Championship. Hopefully, myself, Matt Burt, and my colleague Simon Crayfart are going to cover and digest some of Valentino's great moments over this incredible career that has spanned, what, a quarter of a century, but it all comes to an end here this weekend. The final farewell, Simon. The goodbye to arguably the greatest of all time. He's going to be missed, but what an incredible career he's had.
Unbelievable. And I look forward to Matt going through some of the statistics of his career, because
I've got my bubble hat ready.
That's what he's amazing at. But what I wanted to do is run through, I've got 4 main astonishing points for me from a rider's point of view about Valentino. And I've got to start with his ability to adapt.
Oh, wow. Let's look at this. Now, at 4 p.m. local time here in Spain, we do have an exceptional press conference with Valentino Rossi coming up. But these are now live pictures from the Ricardo Tormo circuit here in Valencia. You can see there Dorna CEO Carmelo Espeleta. What a close relationship those two have formed over the years. And this is the signing of a special mural celebrating the great career of the 9 times world champion Valentino Rossi. 115 Grand Prix victories, 89 wins in the Premier class. But here he is, the Petronas Yamaha SRT rider. What a lovely shot that is. Grazie, Vale. Thank you very much to one of the all-time greats, Simon. These are lovely, lovely pictures, and we're going to see so much of this throughout what's going to be a very emotional weekend, not just for Valentino Rossi, but for so many in the paddock as well.
Yeah, and so many fans, you know, because he's so popular because of how he is. But I'm going to get to that one. The one that, first of all, my favourite thing about Valentino that blows my mind when you look over his career is his ability to adapt. And anyone that works close with the bike racing knows how important a rider adapting is. And because I first met him as a 13-year-old scooter racer, because I met his father, and a few people said, this guy on screen is going to be the next big thing. Of course, I'd heard that from lots of fathers, and I went, yeah, right.
How do you think he's going to be feeling this weekend? You know, it is a strange moment in a rider's career when you know the end is coming, and when you've had a career as successful as Valentino. I mean, how do you think he's going to be handling with it? It's a decision he took quite some time ago, so he's had time to get used to it.
I think that's the main point. He's made the decision, and I think from then on, it's quite hard, because this sport is hard. You have to throw everything at it. Another thing that's blown me away about him. But once you make the decision, I think it's quite hard to keep up that same motivation, you know. And I don't know if he's been able to, even, because it's super hard, you know, because, you know, right through your career, you're trying to fight for the next result and then for next year, and then all of a sudden you decide it's finally the time. I think it's hard to keep that same motivation. I think he's ready to go. That'd be my guess.
And these are live pictures, as we say right now, from the Ricardo Tormo circuit in Valencia. These are scenes we're going to see throughout the entire weekend. Everybody wanting to come and share their experiences and wish a fond farewell to Valentino Rossi. We just saw there, of course, his girlfriend Francesca, who was pregnant with his first daughter. That's going to keep Valentino pretty busy throughout retirement. Now then, what have we got here? What have we got here now then? We're expecting Valentino at 4 o'clock for an exceptional press conference here in the media centre with Steve Day. But these are live pictures, and it looks like there are a lot of photographers gathered around. There's some, wow, this looks like it's going to be pretty special indeed. But Carmelo Espeleta, Dorna's CEO, is there as well. This looks like it might be a very happy farewell to Valentino Rossi, Sam. I can't wait to see what's coming up here. All very excited.
Until we find out, can I just run through that first point, is that he's been like a chameleon. He's gone through scooters, you know, like I mentioned, then national 125s, then 125 world champion, you know. They're not easy things to ride, you know. Not a lot of guys can say they've been champs on those. Then 250 world champion, beautiful bike, the 250 two-stroke, 500, a beast. You know, and he almost won the championship the first year on it. Most people break things the first year on it, you know.
Wow, look at these live pictures here then from the Ricardo Tormo circuit in Valencia. Under those glorious, the spectacular, the famous yellow livery, of course, Valentino Rossi. we have got coming up a massive show here. Grazie Vale, 9 times world champion. Here he is now, and it looks like we might be getting some of the most memorable motorcycles in Valentino's career unveiled at this very special ceremony. Let's have a listen to what he says.
Vado, Vado, Oh.
125.
Wow, look at that, the Aprilia RS125 that Valentino Rossi won his very first World Championship on back in 1997. So that's got to be so special when you're reunited with your first motorcycle that won you the World Championship.
I can't get the picture in my head of was it Naomi Campbell on the back? You know, something like, well, it wasn't Mugello or Monza or I can't even remember where, Imola, something like that, the Italian track, and him and the banter between him and was it Biaggi back then?
Yeah, they had their fair big battle. So there it is then, the first motorcycle that took Valentino Rossi to World Championship glory. It set him on this road to stardom all those many years ago. This will be very emotional for Valentino. There he is with Dorna CEO Carmelo Spetta. Of course, his great friend, his lifelong friend from their school days, Uccio Salucci.
Bellissimo, sono mondiali. Sembra bello tutto il carbone, fighissimo.
Oh, già c'è disco di carbone, c'è il carbone.
Vai, poi facciamo la 250. Ah, questa. Vado? Vedi, questa era quella speciale per il Mugello. Bella, vedi che questa
Guarda come l'ha fatto,
con il cerchio in carbonio, bellissimo. Sì, perché era tutta insieme.
So there is the 1999, that's the 1999 250cc World Championship winning motorcycle.
È un po' più bella di quella che c'ho io, lo sai?
Again, evoking such special memories here for Valentino. Nice that he's going to throw his leg over all these bikes again, Simon.
Quello c'è
Super cool, I wonder where they've collected them all from, because they weren't in one place.
Sembrava che ci fosse più roba davanti.
Impressive.
vai su con le pedane.
Questa già c'era più spazio. Ah, però. Culo corto, eh? Bello. Fighissimo. E va bene, questa è il 50, che com'era invece era rossa e grigia, no? Era grigia rossa e gialla. Vai, allora, vediamo questa è il mostro.
Sì.
Bella, la Honda 500. Bella. Che bella.
Questa da portare a casa.
Questa qui è quella che mi dovevano dare che non mi hanno dato. Che figa, bella.
Oh, come a rivederla.
Bellissima.
Io l'ho vista prima, è tanta roba.
Vedi, c'ha il coso basso. Bella.
Vai, adesso la Yamaha.
Guarda che culacciona. Vediamo, proviamo.
Poi io ti dirigi i tuoi, cioè quella vera.
Sì, questa è proprio quella che mi dovevano dare, beh. Vedi, sì. C'era il culo alto e il manubrio basso. Bellissimo. Vedi, questa c'era più spazio. Bene, questa è un'altra moto. Questa che almeno devi provare a salire anche te, dai, prova. Dai, sì, dai. No, dici meglio l'anca? Cazzo. Facciamo una foto insieme con questa figlia. Questa è la più iconica.
La prima? Poteva aver fatto campione un anno.
Sì, dopo l'inizio sono un po' caduto, però è bella. Bella. Poi, vai.
Prima MotoGP.
Guarda che gomma piccola che c'aveva dietro. Il culo, comunque con le quattro marmite.
Ma la
sempre
bocca
bello.
davanti?
Vai, allora.
Bocca davanti.
Prima 4 tempi, andiamo. che
C'è anche la
bomba.
piastra giusta,
Cazzo,
una piastra.
bella. Cosa sono? Pirelli? Pirelli. C'avevamo questa è quella vera, eh?
Sì,
Questa è proprio lei.
piastra giusta.
Bella.
Solo
Com'è?
pelle d'oca, sono emozionato.
Com'è da vedere da davanti? Con l'altra?
Fa paura.
Bella.
C'è 10 anni di differenza fra una e l'altra, no? Guarda,
Differenza di cupolino, da matti.
c'è un anno, sembrano 15.
Bello.
Pauroso. Pauroso.
Bello, tocca provare anche questa qui, dai. Vai, salgo, Ma vai, c'avevano un materiale strano le piastre della Honda, vedi? Erano diverse.
Avete fatto un gran lavoro, sono contento. Per lui.
Sono più grossi, più ignoranti. Vado, metto carena. Oh.
Un po' di tremarella, no? Un po' di emozioni. E non sarà più come prima.
Bella.
Per me. Cioè, per me.
Questa si usava ancora la frizione. Figa. Bella. Vai, andiamo avanti.
Nessun altro.
Vado?
Vai,
Facciamo questa?
questo era un aereo.
Questa era l'ultima qui a Valencia. Ulla!
Piastra giusta anche qui, giri giusto.
Bella questa. Invece aveva
Sì, Valencia, 2003.
il culo più grande, vedi, c'aveva di questa.
Anche il cupolino più grande. Era un po', si vede proprio l'evoluzione, dai.
Bella. Questa era quella che andava più forte di tutte.
Sì, un po'. Oh, che traversi che si facevano.
Puttana. Sì.
Sterzo chiuso e via.
Bella. Anche il cupolino che c'aveva l'airbox sotto. Qua.
Sì.
Bella. Vai, salgo anche su questa. Bellissimo. Vai. Come sei due come posizione? No.
Bella.
Bello. Si vede le pedane alte, senti. Adesso proviamo di fianco alla Yamaha com'è. Vai, allora, Yamaha. Questa sembra che ha 5-6 anni in più vecchia, poverina. Questa la conosciamo. Bella. Vedi, questa è la piastra. Figata. Questa è un po' diversa da quella che ho. Questa, da me questa era diversa. Sì, io ce l'ho. Me la cambiano. Sì, Io ce l'ho nella camera da letto questa. Nella mia camera da letto. Che bella. Fighissima.
Dio, bella. Mamma mia. Che ricordi.
Era bellissima.
Bellissimo.
Con la presa d'aria che si muoveva.
Bellissimo.
Bella. Vai, facciamo una foto anche su questa qua. Vedi, sembra più
Più alta?
alto il culo, sembra. Bellissimo. Andiamo. Bella. Che figo. Bene, questa è la storica. Andiamo avanti, adesso questa è uguale a quella che abbiamo adesso.
È la mamma, no?
Vado, siete pronti? Olè. Vedi che bella questa? Questa è la mamma di quella di adesso. Questa qui, la prima, la M1. Vedere? Bella.
Più bella. Più veloce.
Quella che andava più forte. Fighissima. Che davanti era tutta diversa. Vedi? Bella.
Era già simile questa qui, quella di adesso.
Sì. La mamma di quella di adesso, questa è.
Più stondata.
Vai, facciamo una foto. Strano, c'hai i manubri stretti.
Magari sono mossi.
Sì. Vai. Diversa, questa non è proprio lei, secondo me. c'è le onde, sono lei. Bella. Secondo me è quella che c'ho a casa io di questa è più bella.
Sì, quella gialla.
Che è più... C'è anche le carene così, scusi. Vai, poi. Yamaha. Allora, questo è 2008. Vai. Dio, lunga. Bella, questa era la Yamaha più figa. Fiat Yamaha storica.
Belle, oh, guarda tutte e otto.
Tutte insieme. Belle. Questa non ce l'avevo io. Vedi, questa è 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3 anni dopo. Questa andava, eh? C'ha le Bridgestone, vedi Bridgestone?
Sì, andava forte.
C'ha la foto. C'hanno tutti i manubri stretti.
Forse per trasportarle, non lo so.
L'hanno riaperto. Sembra diversa, sembra più piccolina questa.
Rispetto a questa?
Sì. Salire. Bella, va bene. È simile. E poi l'ultima che più o meno è uguale, dell'anno dopo. Vado, Bella. Questa è proprio uguale a quella di adesso. Grande. Bella tutte insieme, eh? Oh, scusa.
Dio, fa paura, Vale.
Figa. Questa è la più bella. Bella. Facciamo il giro anche qui. Qui c'erano già i cani. Questi sono già i manubri più larghi. C'era già Petronas, come adesso.
Mamma mia,
Bella.
che spettacolo.
Figo, bello. Bello. Facciamo una foto con 1, 2, 3, 4, qua, così. Ok, vai.
Mamma mia. Sono finito.
Ah, sì.
Sono distrutto praticamente.
2 Yamaha, 3 Honda, 4 Yamaha, 3 Honda, 2 prime. Belle, tutte insieme così sono fighe, eh? Questa dopo dammela la foto. Anche una dove si vedono tutte la facciamo, va bene?
Tutte fa paura.
Va bene. Quella dove si vedono tutte ci vuole. Vai.
Guarda 2,5 fra. È bello,
Non ci arrivo, vabbè.
Guarda vedere da vicino, c'ha tutto il carbonio, la moto avanti 30 anni era. Dischi, il cerchio in carbonio, tutta persona in carbonio.
Vai.
Il cerchio in carbonio.
Dopo queste me le dai, eh? Vai. Cos'è la camera? Un attimo.
Fare una foto tutti insieme, dai, noi, dai. Dov'è Alberghi lì? Gnastio, vogliamo fare una foto noi?
Sì, vai nel mezzo. Allora, il mezzo è lì, qui, in mezzo alle due.
Sì. Quando sono 4 è una.
Mi metto qui?
Sì, perfetto.
Oddio. Così o mi vuoi davanti?
No, un po' indietro poi già.
Ok. Fammene una che è così a sedere, to. E si vedono bene.
Pero hay una que quiere una así.
Gigi, fammene una anche te. Sì, ok, perfetto.
Wow.
Ciao, Lino. All okay?
Wow, what special moments here in Valencia. Super special moments for Valentino Rossi. Special moments for the MotoGP World Championship paddock as well. For the first time and probably the last time, all of Valentino Rossi's 9 World Championship winning motorcycles gathered together under one roof. What a moment for him. When you just look at that lineup, Simon, a 2-stroke 125, a 2-stroke 250, a 2-stroke 500, 990s, 800s, that lineup there just shows the incredible versatility of Valentino Rossi.
Which I mean, that was a nice surprise and a perfect illustration of what I was, the point I was trying to make about the chameleon, you know, as a rider, unbelievable, because 125, difficult to ride, like I was saying, 250, quite different than the 125, you know, but he won again. Then 500s, first year, almost won the championship, possibly could have if they'd approached it trying to win, but it was his learning year, you know, then he won in the second year. They're bone-breaking monsters, those things, you know, no electronics. And then he jumped on a V5, so you're talking, you know, 2 cylinders one way, 3 the other way. 990, as you said, a completely different motorcycle again, and style to ride it. Massive power, you know, V'ing the corners, and relatively raw, because there wasn't big electronics back then, big skids. Then, you know, he had 2 championships on those, if I remember correctly. Then to the Yamaha, probably the highlight of his career for me, proving that the rider, he went out to prove a point that the rider was more important, you know. And that was a special day, I think, for all riders to see him not only win the race, win the championship. Unreal on the Yamaha.
Great to see so many current riders here coming to join in this very special ceremony. We should, of course, say a huge thank you to Dorna, but also in particular to Yamaha, to Honda, and to Aprilia for helping put together this incredible demonstration. You can see there Massimo Rivola, Alberto Puig, and Lynn Jarvis. Lynn Jarvis, of course, who did so much back at the end of 2003 to convince this man, Valentino Rossi, to jump on a Yamaha and really change the course of history for the factory Yamaha team. I mean, Simon, when he came to Yamaha in 2004, they'd had a dreadful 2003 season. I mean, they were almost the whipping boys. And he kind of altered the course of the history of this championship.
Yeah.
You know, Yamaha's success, the foundations laid by Valentino and Yamaha back in 2004, they're still enjoying that success now, of course, with Fabio Quartararo, our current world champion.
Yeah, as that interview I did with Lynn Jarvis when we were hearing about Valentino's retirement, you know, I did an interview with him and he was saying how Valentino came when Lynn came, you know, and he said we were so lucky because Valentino came, obviously brought his riding ability, but he also taught us how to win. And I think you're right, they're still enjoying that recipe today, you know.
There was all those talk, wasn't there, of meetings behind the scenes with Lynn Jarvis, Davide Brivio and Valentino Rossi to get him off for Honda. And of course, it was at the end of 2003. There was the massive surprise. I remember the press conference right here in this very circuit where it was announced that Valentino was leaving HRC. Of course, he did so much for Honda as well. I mean, you have to remember the NSR 500 there, just to Valentino's left, the Nastro Azzurro 500 2-stroke, the classic NSR. That was a history-making motorcycle. That was the last ever 2-stroke 500 to win a Premier Class title. And then, of course, he jumped on that beautiful, when we went to the 4-stroke era, the 990 RC211V, Simon, a 5-cylinder. Honda always at the forefront of technical ingenuity, but that 5-cylinder 990 back in 2003 was just a beautiful piece of engineering, and Valentino was so successful on it as well.
Yep. And I remember it being so powerful, you know, and not tamed down, like I was saying about electronics, massive skids, blue smoke, and so much power. They didn't even really have to work on the aerodynamics so much. It was kind of, they just didn't have to, you know, it was awesome machine. I think it wouldn't have been that easy to ride early on because first year, things are never refined. But again, Valentino won on it.
I guess when we look at this super impressive lineup of these 9 World Championship winning bikes, there's one for me personally that really does stand out, and that's that first year at Yamaha, the 2004 YZR M1. Who will ever forget? Not just that championship winning season, but those incredible scenes. The South African Grand Prix at Velken. We remember when he was on the floor kissing the bike post-race.
I was crying watching the TV.
I think everybody was crying watching that race. But that, for me, was one of the standout moments when you look at those bikes. That race will live long in so many people's memories.
Matt, I'll repeat, for me, it is the highlight of Valentino's career. And I'd go as far as saying maybe the highlight of racing, all the racing I've ever watched, was that moment when he first won on the Yamaha. Because it takes a lot of courage, determination to walk away from the dominant manufacturer and go to one that hasn't been winning, to have the faith in your own abilities, you know, to be able to lead that challenge, to be able to adapt and be confident to win. And he did. And that moment he first won, basically he was proving a point that, I'll repeat, the rider is the important thing. So I guess I think a little bit of arrogance had slipped in to the Honda scene, and Valentino was like tired of it. Basically wanted to prove that it's the rider that is the most important part of the ingredients, and he did. And it was a stunning day.
That shot there kind of typifying the story of Valentino Rossi's career from when he started winning World Championships back in 1997. You can see there that the world's media all gathered around to get these shots. These are some of Valentino's closest inner circle, I guess you could say. You can see there Ucho Salucci, his great friend, has been with him right from when this journey started 25 long years ago. We talked about his versatility, Simon, which has been super impressive, but it's his longevity as well. I mean, you know what it's like to race at the highest level, the pressure that comes with that, and all the stresses and strains. He's been doing this for a quarter of a century, 25 years, which is just super impressive.
Thank you, because that's one of my 4 points I love about Valentino is his longevity, but I think I would like to put it as his passion, his love for the sport, you know, his passion for racing is what's enabled him to do this. And because it's so hard to race at this level, it's why people can't do it for too long normally. And to battle through all these different eras against all these different races, because he has raced all different races, you know, and figured out how to win. And I think that's another point, is that he has so much passion over such a long time, because otherwise he just wouldn't be able to do what he did.
Luca Marini has also joined him there, of course, his brother Max, his assistant, who's been there for such a long time of Valentino's career. Looks like he's here to enjoy this final weekend, Simon, and why not after such a great career?
I totally agree. I've got to sneak in the final 2 points I love about this guy.
Go for it,
and
mate.
That is his ability to race, his racecraft, because he figured out how to beat the opposition in all those categories. And sometimes the opposition was actually better. He shouldn't have beaten them on the day, and he did. Danny Pedrosa at Brno is the one that leaps out to me. Figured out if I keep hassling Danny and getting in front of him long enough before his tyre drops, then I might have a chance to beat him, and he did. Amazing. So it's only one, but he did it for years. The last one is his personality, because even if someone in the future matches what he's done in his career, the likeliness of them also being as charismatic, and he's made everyone, including everyone and their grandmother, loves the guy, you know. And one other point, the guys in the garage do too, because I know 3 well that work with him for a long time, and they all say he's so humble, willing to listen, willing to doubt himself, doesn't blame, you know, and...
Yeah, could not agree more, Simon. I mean, this guy has been a fantastic ambassador for the MotoGP World Championship now for 26 seasons. I mean, he transcended the sport, really. He took it from the back page to the front page. I don't think we'll ever see Valentino's like again, to be honest.
Well, that's why I doubt it. Even if they match what he did in his career, also to be the same personality,
some of his crew here as well. His crew chief there, immediately to his right, David Munoz, and of course Matteo Flamini on the end there, his data engineer. He's been with Valentino for such a long time. When you see some of those motorcycles as well, and you think about some of the battles that they were in with the likes of Max Biaggi, with Sete Gibernau, Jorge Lorenzo, Casey Stoner, Danny Pedrosa.
Yeah, that's the racecraft I was talking about.
Valentino was involved, and he was a pioneer, really, Simon, in one of the golden eras, a golden age for the sport, wasn't he?
Yep. Yes, sorry, I have to talk about his racecraft since we've got time. He figured out how to beat the opposition, you know. Again, it's being a chameleon, isn't it, you know, because each of those different opposition that he had, whether it was their machinery was maybe had an advantage at the time, or they were just purely faster, or the combination was, he figured out how to beat them, you know, and it takes like some passion, but also, incredible. Like, he's obviously a clever guy, you know, to be able to apply that and figure out how to come out on top.
For those of you tuning in, don't worry, there is going to be an exceptional press conference with Valentino Rossi. It might just be a little bit late. It was due to start at 4 p.m. local time, but you can understand why he's savouring and enjoying this special moment. Reunited, as we said, with his 9 World Championship winning motorcycles. A unique experience. This has never happened before, and it will certainly never happen again. And once again, we have to say a huge thanks to Aprilia, to Yamaha and Honda for their assistance in this fantastic tribute. I mean, this is a tribute befitting of a great champion like Valentino, isn't it, Simon?
Sure is. Hey, I jumped through those last points because I thought we were going to the press conference. I would like to go back to his personality, you know, because Valentino has the ability to remember your name and make you feel special at the particular moment you need it, you know. And I think it's a real rare gift because he's many times made me feel like that. And I know he's done it to many others, you know. It's what he does. Meaning you walk in the garage, you haven't seen him for, I don't know, 5 years. I don't even know if you remember me. I walked in the garage, was talking with his mechanics, Brenty and Axel, and having a look at his bikes. And he walks in and he goes, "Ciao, Simon," you know, and he just makes you feel special, you know. He's got a gift for it. And he's done it to me multiple times, and I know he does it to everyone. It's a real gift.
You're absolutely right. I remember numerous times back in my journalistic days having the privilege and pleasure to interview Valentino Rossi. When you left, you felt like you could walk on water. It made you feel like you were 10 feet tall. He really had that special gift for making you feel like the most important person in that entire room.
Okay, I wasn't going to, but I'll share a moment. The last big one he gave me was my first baptism of fire, my first race on the microphone. And I was terrible, you know. I didn't know what I was doing. It was the first job in pit lane. And after the race, it was at Qatar. He'd been on the podium. He came down with all the podium guys and, his right-hand man. And he stopped on the stairs because we had to pass each other. He put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Welcome back, Simon. Good to see you in the paddock where you belong." And then he walked off, you know, and I just went, awesome. I was feeling really low because I was not good at my new job. And he just made me feel really good at that bad moment. Yeah, it's amazing how he can do it.
Moments like that which make him a true legend on the circuit and off the circuit as well. It's been a truly incredible 26-season journey for Valentino Rossi. The finale of it starts this weekend, coming up very, very shortly with our colleague Steve Day. It's the doctor's last appointment with MotoGP. Coming up now, it's the exceptional press conference. Enjoy.